Titans Tuesday check-in. What is the state of the Titans? Our weekly look at where the Titans stand. We're going to grade Cam Ward's most recent performance and look at how it stacks up against his first game. We are going to give our confidence level in this franchise and the direction they're heading right now. And our main segment today, Justin, will be comparing this year's Titans to last year's Titans. Where have they actually improved? Let's get into it. This is the Music City Audible. Welcome everyone to another episode of the Music City Audible podcast presented by Sinkers Beverages, the premier wine, spirits, and beer store in East Nashville in partnership with 440 Sports. I'm Justin Graver. With me, as always, Justin Melo. Justin, it's Tuesday, and I hope I don't have to say this too many times this year, but that means we can flush last weekend's game and look ahead to week 3. How's it going?
I guess I'm doing well. Coming down with a bit of a cold, so not doing as well as per usual, but I'm powering through. I've got, as Denard Wilson would call it, competitive stamina. I'm here to see this episode through and excited for our weekly Cam Ward, and I guess the rest of the team too, but I'm excited for our weekly Cam Ward check-in.
Yes, me too. We're going to, as I said just now, we're going to grade Cam Ward's performance, and just like we did last week, if you're new to the show, you missed last week's show, we are doing this every week. We're going to be grading Cam Ward's performance, and we're grading him strict. We are grading him against the top quarterbacks in the NFL. We are grading him to a high standard, what the quarterback that we one day hope Cam Ward can become. So we're not giving him bonus points for playing on a bad offense, for his teammates committing penalties, for being a rookie in his second game ever against a really good defense and a really good pass rush. Like, we're grading him based on the same way if Josh Allen took the field against the Rams last weekend, we'd grade him on the same scale is what I'm trying to say, I guess. So let's get into it, Justin. I think Cam Ward's performance overall compared to his first game was a little more up and down. I would say the highs were higher. Obviously, the high was insanely high. Only a handful of quarterbacks in the world can make that play level of high. But you can't survive an NFL season only making plays like that. You also have to be very good in structure in order to set yourself up for opportunities like that. Not saying Cam Ward wasn't, but just like putting into context, that amazing high is also, there are quarterbacks who have done play, like Johnny Manziel has made plays like that. He just couldn't do everything else consistently. So, and that was brought up on Heed the Call. If any of our listeners are also Heed the Call listeners, Connor Orr has been comparing Cam Ward to Johnny Manziel since he made that throw in a sort of facetious way, but also Connor is just being a dick. So I just wanted to say, as great as that play was, we're not giving him bonus points for the overall game because of one play. He also had a turnover in this game, and I know he had a turnover in the week 1 game as well, but it was the last play of the game. Desperation, 4th down, had to hold the ball in the pocket to try to make something happen.
I was like, did? I didn't even remember it. I'm like, yeah, turnover, right. Whatever.
In this game, his turnover pretty much lost the Titans the game. I mean, it wasn't over yet from that point. There was still like 8 or 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
I don't want to say lost the game. I'm sorry. I want to say it might have ended it, it might have kind of put the final nail in the coffin, but it didn't lose the game.
Fair way to put it. Thank you for correcting me. Yes, it didn't lose them the game, but it definitely ended the comeback attempt because the Rams were able to get a touchdown on the ensuing possession, which that was pretty much it because it pushed it to a 2-score game with less than, I think, 7 or 8 minutes left. So we got a grade on all of that. He missed a throw to DK when they still were, had a chance to compete in this game. He is still, I would say, this is a thing that came up during OTAs, even all the way back in like May, that he's looking for the big play and passing up on checkdowns when he could just take the check down and take the 4 yards or whatever, especially against a good defense with a great pass rush. You got to sometimes just get the ball out of your hands quickly. And I don't necessarily think the sacks that he took in this game were on him. There was the one on the sideline, I guess. But it wasn't like that he was just holding the ball too long and not throwing to open targets, but at the same time, you got to keep the offense moving, got to keep it on schedule. And I thought there were a few times where he went for a deeper shot when he had somebody open underneath. So, and sometimes he makes those plays, and sometimes he misses, and you wish he had taken the check down. So we're going to grade him with all of that taken into consideration. Higher highs than week 1, lower lows than week 1. Justin, where did we settle on Cam Ward's week 2 grade?
I think we're gonna go with the same letter grade for a second week in a row, and that's a B-. Obviously, the touchdown pass was out of this world, right? And you got to take it into account because it's a play that he made, right? We're obviously not going to wipe it from the conversation. And they're like the one before to Alec Iomanner, pinned it to his helmet, great one-handed grab. But that was so decisive of him. Like you go back and watch that tape. As soon as he sees that's the single man coverage there on the outside and he's getting that one-on-one, he pretty much just throws it up right away. Like I just sort of love that.
And
the efficiency
and the ball placement on that play was fucking perfect. I mean, it was literally, it couldn't have been better.
And there were a couple instances, like in the first half, I think he hit Alec Iomanner for a 16-yard gain towards the left sideline, I believe it was. A bit of a back shoulder throw, again, where the ball placement was had pinpoint precision. Only Alec Iomanner could make a play on that ball, and he did. And there were a couple instances like that. Now, on some of the negatives, of course, losing a fumble anytime, a turnover in your own territory, that helped the Rams bust that lead open, essentially end that game right there. Can't have it. There was the miss to Shimere DK that we talked about in real time. I think that was an obvious one. One that I believe I brought up on Sunday, I said on the TV copy, I'd like to see the all-22 of it. I was right after looking at the all-22 of it. The fourth down, the fourth and short that he ended up converting with his legs. Now, he made a good play with his legs. Like, once he got out of that pocket there towards the sideline.
I disagree with what you're about to say, but go on.
Okay. I thought it was dead in the water. I thought it was dead in the water. I go, uh-oh, they're not going to convert this. And then he kind of makes a guy miss, if I'm recalling correctly, and he picks up the first down. That was great. It was one of those throwback plays. You don't think he had it? I knew what you were saying. Like, I thought he might have had it. Someone agreed with me in the chat. Was it Superhorn? Like, I thought he might have had it, and I thought there was an opportunity. I think if he's really decisive in that moment, I think it might have been there for him, but he kind of pulls it down and the moment is gone. Like, these things close quickly in the NFL. Like, I was watching that Monday night game last night. Geno Smith, first pass of the game is an interception. I thought if Geno Smith let that thing go half a second early, not even half a second, a hair earlier, I think it was Derwin James, the closing safety, who tips it up. I don't think Derwin James gets there, right? Like, that's the difference. I think if he was really, really decisive on that comeback, and I love that play call then, I love it now, but just a couple of the little nitpickings that I had with his performance. And again, very minor nitpickings that I had.
I have to disagree on throwback fourth down play because he sees it and he wants to throw it. And that's a play, it's fourth down. You need 2 yards for a first down, but that throw is like a 30-yard throw. You're the way going across the other side of the field. And it's fourth down. You can't just you can't just flip that up on the run and hope it gets to its target. Like, that's one where Cam wants to set his feet, give it nice air loft under the ball so his target can run underneath it. And as soon as he is finished executing the rollout to look back for the throwback, he's got two guys barreling down on him. There's no chance for him to set his feet and step into a throw. If he sort of just chucks it off his back foot, falling away from pressure, he could probably get the throw away. But it's fourth down. You have to make sure that throw's on target or you're off the field. I have no problem with him deciding, I can't set my feet, I can't step into this throw, I'm not going to throw it. And he finds a way to make a play and pick up the first down anyway. So, the play maybe was there to be made on the back end in coverage, but the pass rush took away the throw. So that's how, I know Superhorn disagrees, but that's how I feel about it. We all watch tape a little bit differently. It's funny, we all watch the same play, but we all see it a little differently because we all value different traits a little differently, and that's how we come down on Cam Ward's Week 2 performance. So 2 straight B- grades. Let's see if this starts to trend upward in this week's game against the Colts, but we're not going to just give him a lighter grade so that we can see quote-unquote progress. We're going to keep grading him harshly, and if you think it's too harsh, let us know in the comments what you would grade Cam Ward. And while we're here, a shout-out to all of you guys listening and watching right now, especially the YouTube audience, because as we sit and record this, no, we have not achieved our 5,000 subscriber goal that we were trying to hit by the end of Week 2, but we are only 11 subscribers short as of this recording, which means you guys watching this video today could push us over. So hit that subscribe button, like the video. Again, drop your thoughts in the comments below. Grade Cam Ward's performance. We're using letter grades here. We're not using numerical grades. So drop your thoughts in the comments, why you grade him, what you grade him. And remember, be harsh. We're trying to be harsh here. We're nitpicking. And we acknowledge that we're nitpicking, which makes it a little more okay, I think, Justin. Quickly, let's talk about our confidence level in the direction of the franchise, because this is just another weekly check-in thing we're going to do. Last week, we were between a 3 and a 4. I haven't really changed. I think, if anything, I'm slightly more confident because at least Brian Callahan didn't like blow the game with horrible management and decision making and play calling. It was more or less like a few things we can nitpick that Brian Callahan did, which I think is a better place for him to be. If we're coming out of that trying to nitpick, and I've been accused of being a little hypocritical in my criticism of Callahan. Now I will contend and hold on to the fact that I think game context matters. They're not the exact same situation, going conservative to kick a field goal in one half or not going conservative to kick the field goal in the other half. Like, it's two different games in two different situations. So I stand by my take there. But if that's the biggest criticism we can come up with, I think we're doing okay. And I rethought a little bit more of the second half adjustments thing, Justin. Like, yes, I still would like to see the Titans be more successful in the second half. But if you really think about their drives, like, they got 2 field goals. It wasn't a blank shutout second half, which they had many times last season.
Yeah, one of those field goals came at the end when they were down like 3 scores with 4 minutes left, right? So
fair, but they moved the ball at the end of that game when they needed. I mean, I guess it was, maybe don't need to count that because it was garbage time. But if that's the case, then he has less time to like make something happen because the whole fourth quarter almost was garbage time. The Titans were winning this game with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. I mean, that's a pretty good place to be. They've melted down in the fourth, but they were winning the game with 3 minutes left. Their other good drive where they ended up settling for the field goal before the end of game garbage time one, that was a great drive they had going. And, a false start into a second down sack absolutely brutally murdered that drive. But that's how close it is. That's where the margins are right now for this team. If they could just not shoot themselves in the foot in the middle of a good drive, and then not take a bad sack in the middle of a good drive, like where I think that was the one where Dan Moore just got whipped immediately and was flagged for holding, declined because Cam Ward got the sack. I'm not trying to, that wasn't on Cam Ward, but like, that's the margin is razor thin. They just got to make one more play here and there. I thought the second half was a little better, at least offensively, on a rewatch. They just didn't have the ball. Like, they couldn't possess the ball and they couldn't get off the field on defense. So anyway, I think I'm at like a 4 this week, which is a slight improvement from between a 3 and a 4 last week.
I'm still at the same place. I think you're being a little generous. I get what you're saying, but what I brought up, 34 yards of offense in the second half until the garbage time drop, outscored 23-6, I think, in the second half. I'm not even talking about adjustments. I just want them to play better football in the second half, and they've never done that yet throughout the Callahan era. So while I agree, I ultimately agree that, he didn't lose them this game, and theoretically maybe our confidence level should be higher because the Broncos game was such a disaster from a coaching perspective. I think ultimately getting your teeth kicked in the second half is really discouraging, and it's something that's happened consistently to this team. So they've lost 8 football games in a row. I think it's 8-5 at home. So until they start, playing better second half, close one of these games out, get their first win since, I don't know what, like October or November of last year, I'm going to stay at a 3 because they've got to get some momentum going here under their belt.
That is totally fair. Fair way to feel. I guess, like, we're not that confident, neither one of us, even if I am 1 point more confident than you. But it's better than absolutely, losing them the game with the coaching.
I'll say this quickly. No matter what I'm at right now, and maybe this should be impacting my rating more than it is, 2026, 2027, I'm pretty confident because I love the quarterback, right? Like, I think once you get there and they fill in this round, coaching TBD, what they're going to do there. But once they start filling out this roster, and I believe they got the right guy to do that in Mike Borgonzi based on how his first offseason went, I'm really confident that this team could improve big time in a year or two, right? Like, I think they're, next year for me, I mean, no excuses in the sense where I'm not saying you got to win 12 games, but you got to be an 8-9. You got to be in that mix, right? You got to be the Colts this year, the Jags this year. We're going to be 8 or 9 win teams kind of thing. So I'm confident in the future because of Cam Ward. But as of right now, they got to get through this ugly phase.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, we are going to talk about where the Titans have actually improved since last season. Where are they showing growth and where are they regressing? Because I think that is almost more important than where they're growing. But first, a quick word from Sinkers Beverages, the premier wine, spirits, and beer store in East Nashville, serving the community since 1985. Their knowledgeable staff is proud to help you with large parties, themed events, or just finding something unique for a special occasion. So, from birthday parties to milestone celebrations to everyday everyday moments. Sinkers can help with the right drink for every occasion. If you head to the sinkersbeverages.com website or check the link in this description of the video or podcast you're listening to or watching, you can join the In-Crowd. In-Crowd members get access to allocated wines and spirits, exclusive events, early access to barrel releases, and more. Okay, Justin, I have a list here. A list of different aspects of football, pretty much, is what we're going to go through. We're not doing this like by position group. We're not doing this by player. We're doing this by like aspects of football. And we're going to start with the passing game. And we can break this down a little bit into like the passer, the pass protection, the receivers. But overall passing game thus far through 2 weeks is not improved from last season. I wouldn't say it's the same as last season. Overall, the passing game through 2 weeks is a little worse than it was last season, and that takes pass protection into account. It takes overall production, like yards and completion percentage, into account. The overall passing game right now is not working very well. There have been good plays in there, but on the whole, EPA per drop back, completion percentage, like I said, yards per pass attempt, all of those, and sacks taken, all of those numbers are way down, and they're really bad, actually.
The 32nd in passing, I believe, through 2 weeks. They're the worst team in the league in passing. But, I mean, I don't know about you. I'm going to go through a bit more rapid fire in this, or else we'll be doing this for 3 hours. But I'm going to say it's better. You know, I get all that, but I think the quarterback's a lot better, number one. Yes, I think the pass protection has been similar, but I think it's going to get better as it goes on and they gel a little bit, and they're not playing the Broncos and the Rams every single week. So I get it. The numbers are really bad right now, but I mean, Cam's undeniably better than Will Levis and Mason Rudolph. He's probably going to get better as the year goes on. I think we've heard Brian Callahan all but flat out admit slowly going to take the training wheels off more and more, I think, as this year goes on and he gains his confidence. So for me, I'm not that confident in Brian Callahan, obviously, but I think the passing offense, I'm not going to sit here and say it's worse because some of the numbers say it is through 2 weeks, because I think all the context explains a lot of that. Now, is it going to be good enough? Is it going to meet expectations? Is it going to be satisfactory? I don't know, but I don't think it's worse than last year.
Yeah, I think the overall passing game right now is worse than last year, but I don't think it's going to continue to be worse than last year as the season progresses for all the reasons you just said. They definitely are better at quarterback. So far, they've been worse in pass protection, but they've also played two really good fronts, so I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt there for at least another couple of weeks before I just definitively say they are not better. But like yeah, I think...
Year, I'm sorry, I'm looking this up real quick because like last year, we talked about they're better. Well, in week 1, I want to look this up real quick. They had the Chicago Bears last year, okay, in week 1, who I guess technically coming off a 2023 season where they were the second worst pass rushing team in the NFL. Like, in week 1, they got the second worst pass rushing team in the NFL. You go to week 1 this year, they had the best pass rushing team in the NFL. Like, you want to talk, and guess what? Last year, you want to talk about, okay, well, what were the Bears last? They had them in week 1. The Bears were still not they were more middling pass rushing team last year. But the point is, they were coming off a year which they were second worst. So they went from week 1 against the 31st best pass rushing team in the NFL versus the best pass rushing team in the NFL. Bears got Montez Sweat and guys up front last year in week 1. So huge difference in opponent. Let's not forget that context.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It doesn't change the result, but it definitely changes the context and how we have to evaluate the team. Again, I will give them a few more weeks, but as of right now, the definitive verdict on passing game is it's worse, with the hope that it will be better going forward because of opponent. But based on what we've seen, we can only judge what we've actually seen. It has been worse. Production has been worse. The run game. This one is about the same, I would say, as last year. I'm talking about run blocking, the running back usage. Obviously, we haven't seen Tajay Spears yet. That's a big deal. He was going to be, a change of pace back that provided 8-ish touches per game maybe to this offense, and he's been on IR since before the season started. So I would say I also have hope that the rushing offense will get better, especially when J.C. Latham is back. Both sides of the offensive line, you can really run behind. They got people movers up front. So I'm expecting this run game to really take off with the return of J.C. Latham and the eventual return of Tajay Spears. We don't know when either of those guys are back, by the way, so I don't want that to be unclear or come off as if they're coming back this week. But I do think I have hope that the run game will continue to improve. It was pretty good against the Rams. It was middling against the Broncos, but even in a pretty good game, they haven't broken off an explosive run play yet, and they need to pop some of those if they really want this offense to keep moving.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go with it's about the same. I think Tony Pollard's looked occasionally good. They've been a little inconsistent up front. I think he's gotten hit at the line of scrimmage more than you'd like him to. Once again, two pretty good defensive fronts. Although the Colts got some guys, right? Grover, Stewart, DeForest Buckner. It'll be a challenge in week 3. But I feel, okay-ish about the run game. I do think it'll start popping a bit more in the coming weeks. And of course, J.C. Latham's a big part of that. But we're on the same page. I think it's more or less the same. Tony Pollard looks the same. And that's, I think, a compliment because Tony Pollard was good last year.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's, if they're doing the same there, then that's a good place to be because the run game was pretty much all they had last season. The next one is very small sample size to judge off of, so we'll move quickly through this one. But red zone offense. And the red zone offense so far this year, which was bad last year, by the way, they were bad in the red zone. 2024 red zone stats, the Titans were 24th in touchdown percentage at just 53.3%. This season, Justin, have you looked this up? I'm curious if you haven't because I'd like you to guess.
Tweeted it. I think Zach had a table. Zach Lyons had a table.
Okay. So you're not going to guess what you think their red zone touchdown percentage is this year?
Are they 50%? 1 for 2?
50% would be incredible. No, they're 1 for 5. They are 20% conversion, which is 30th in the NFL through 2 weeks. They are not good in the red zone. They have only scored 1 touchdown in 2 games. This is one where it's a little early to judge what they're going to be in against small.
It's a prayer from Cam Ward to Alec Iomanor on 3rd and goal to score that touchdown.
Is the only touchdown, yes. Like they haven't executed an offense in the red zone for a touchdown yet this season. So that's a big concern. Again, the context of the defenses they have faced has to be considered, but we got to see improvement here. And this, to me, really starts with being able to run the ball. You have got to be able to run the ball in the red zone to convert chances, and not just push the pile for 1 or 2 yards, but you got to be able to run to get down to the goal line, and then you got to be able to run to get across the goal line in those short yardage situations. And we've seen them not do that, especially against the Broncos, where they settle for field goals down deep in the red zone. They got to be able to run the ball better down there. And if they do, this number will improve a lot. And hopefully playing slightly softer defenses will help a lot too.
Yeah, I'm, for me, 50% thing wasn't a joke saying it was good. I'm just like, what have they gotten there? Twice? How many times have they been in the red zone? So it's got to get better. But you're right. You look at that Texans game yesterday on Monday Night Football, 3 or 4 chances from the 1 yard line, can't get in. They couldn't run the football down there. And when you ask the passing attack to carry that load, what do we always say? It's real condensed down there. It's hard sometimes to get into that end zone. Look at the Rams in this game. Sean McVay threw it 3 times down there and couldn't get in and had to settle for a field goal from the 3 yard line. So you've got to be able to run the ball down there. And I'm hoping, I want to see them get down there more often, not just for the sake of my sanity, but to really just get some more definitiveness on what this red zone offense is going to look this year and whether or not they have success running the ball down there.
Yeah, they need more chances for sure. They need more red zone chances. They got to convert more first downs. The offense needs to be better. The offense is, there was a chart that was floating around Twitter on Tuesday morning that shows percent of drives that end in a touchdown, or percent of plays that end in a touchdown, first down, or punt or something like that. Anyway, the Titans were horrible. They were the worst. They have the fewest touchdowns of any team in the NFL. They were the worst on this chart at converting and sustaining drives. They have got to get better in a hurry in that area. And again, not playing the Broncos and Rams should help, but the Colts defense looks really good so far under Lou Anarumo, and it's going to be another stiff test. And then they get Houston the following week on the road, another really good defense, another really stiff test. So we will be, we'll see how this develops, but my hopes aren't super high that the offense is just going to suddenly start clicking. Maybe when we get to the Raiders game, maybe, but even Patrick Graham is a good defensive coordinator. So we'll see how that develops. Let's flip to the defensive side of the ball, Justin. The pass rush. I think this is definitive. The pass rush is worse. No Harold Landry. I don't care if you thought Harold Landry was overpaid or underproductive or whatever. He was better than what they have now. He made this unit a better unit than what they are right now. I know I talked a lot about putting Femi Oladejo in the Harold Landry role and seeing if they can get some production from him that way. They haven't. It hasn't happened. They haven't been running those stunts up front with letting Jeffrey Simmons be the looper. They haven't done it with Femi Oladejo. Or if they have, they haven't gotten pressure off of any of those stunts yet this year. The Titans overall are not getting pressure on quarterbacks, and they don't have good edges, which we talked about all offseason. We knew this was an issue. It's an issue. They're worse than they were last year. There's no real hope for this to just suddenly get better unless they go sign Preston Smith maybe, which I don't know why you would do that given the state of your team, 0-2, like you're not competing this year. Give Femi the reps. Don't go get Preston Smith to just take away snaps from your young guy. But Femi's got to get better. He played decently well in this game. He wasn't terrible in this game. He doesn't look like a total bust. He looks like a guy who's figuring stuff out, and he's getting better. And hopefully by like week 10, Femi Oladejo is an impactful player. But right now, they don't have an impactful edge rusher, and it's definitely hurting the defense.
I'm going to go that this unit is slightly worse, but I think a lot of people are probably going to be a prisoner of the moment on this topic. They're one of the worst pass rushing teams in the NFL last season, and they are once again one of the worst pass rushing teams in the NFL. Like, it's easy to react in the moment, right? But they were really bad last year. But I agree, Harold Landry, and insult to injury, of course this would happen to the Titans, is playing really well for the Patriots. Right? He's got 3.5 sacks and I think 10 pressures through 2 weeks. Mike Herndon had tweeted, the whole Titans edge rushing room has 10 pressures combined, and they've got 0 sacks. So it's like, yes, they are worse because their best player last year is no longer here, and he's playing better now than he was probably a year ago. So yeah, it's a little worse, but it was awful last year, and it's awful-er this year, but terrible on both counts.
There are 2 sacks this year, Justin. You know what they are? They are Jeffrey Simmons knocking the ball out of Bo Nix's hands, not even taking the quarterback to the ground, just forcing the fumble.
They forced a turnover, so, it's good.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying they're 2 sacks. They haven't actually tackled the quarterback. The other one was Amani Hooker barely getting a hand on Matthew Stafford's back as he trips forward in the pocket and falls down. Good pressure, but they haven't actually tackled a quarterback to the ground yet this season. So 1 touchdown this year, 2 sacks this year. This team is struggling, and they've played 2 teams that are going to be likely in the playoffs, but they're struggling right now. That's the pass rush. Let's talk about run defense. Run defense, probably about the same. It was pretty bad last year. They kind of did the same thing that they've done through 2 weeks, which is they bottle up a lot of plays, but then they let one rip off for a massive, massive chunk. 50-yard run by J.K. Dobbins by R.J. Harvey against the Broncos. A 45-yard touchdown on 4th down run by Puka Nacua. Blake Corum and Kyron Williams each ripped off 15-yard runs in this game as well. Titans allowed, I think it was 6.7 yards per carry if you take out Matthew Stafford's -6 yards on 2 end-of-game kneel downs. 6.7 yards per carry allowed to the Rams. But similar to what you just talked about with the pass rush, the run defense wasn't good last year. So I would say it's about the same, and about the same is bad.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's not good. 2 45-plus yard rushes they've given up. One obviously went for a touchdown. And that's the frustrating. Kyron Williams averaged 3.8 yards per carry in this game. They've been bottling up running backs a lot around the line of scrimmage. And then the dam just seems to break at one point. And when it breaks, right? It's Xavier Woods whiffing in the backfield, and Puka Nacua goes untouched for a 45-yard touchdown. I want to say the R.J. Harvey one, I think it was Amani Hooker who took a really bad angle coming downhill on that one. So it's they've got to sort through that. Of course, not having Tavondre Sweat really hurt. I think hurt a little bit, at least, in week 2. Denard Wilson talked about that during his press conference. They need to get him back. We'll talk about this later on this week when we do the Colts episodes, but they really need him back against this Colts team, in my opinion, who's 4th in the league in rushing. Jonathan Taylor leads all running backs. Jonathan Taylor put up 130 on a good Broncos. The same Broncos are 150, something like that.
I think it was 165. Plus, he had a 50-yard, 2 catches or 50 yards, and a touchdown in the air.
He tore them up, and that was the same Broncos front. The Titans couldn't really run against very well in week 1. I mean, I actually wrote a piece earlier. Titans running backs had 60 yards of rushing on 20 carries against the Broncos, Chestnut and Pollard combined. So neither here nor there, but yeah, the challenge is getting bigger there coming up this week, and they have not been good on the run defense. I almost want to say they're a bit worse, but it was bad last year. It's an issue they've got to get sorted ASAP.
25 carries, 165 yards for Jonathan Taylor last week, to go along with 2 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown. So yeah, they have a huge challenge ahead, and so far the run defense has been bad. So it's gotta get better. How about the secondary?
I'm torn. I mean, you might have better context than I do. I think it's
it's better.
Yeah, I'm
I think it's marginal, but I
Yeah.
think it's better right now than it was last season. And I think L'Jarius Sneed is playing good football. And this might be a hot, controversial take after his PFF, his like live PFF grade, which is calculated without all 22 film or being able to see the entire play, which is maddening and mind-boggling that even exists, was terrible. And he allowed a touchdown to Davante Adams. And Davante Adams had 6 catches for 100-plus yards and a touchdown. Yeah, L'Jarius Sneed only allowed 2 of those. And he was in tight coverage on Davante Adams for 4 other ones in which he made the play, either was physical in the route stem, so Davante Adams threw off the timing, couldn't get out of his break to get the ball, was right there in his hip pocket on a downfield throw in the red zone, bodying him up and preventing 2 touchdowns in the red zone. So yeah, he got beat for 1. Davante Adams is an all-pro player. Like, he's going to catch the ball sometimes. L'Jarius Sneed, though, and I put out a cut up on Twitter. So I would put the film in here, Justin, in our podcast live and show you L'Jarius Sneed making all these plays, but the NFL has started flagging our channel when we put all 22 up here, and then we can't monetize the video, and then it's very annoying. So I apologize to our YouTube audience. We're not going to be able to put all 22 film in these podcast clips anymore, but it is on my Twitter timeline, at Titans Film Room. I tweeted out the 4 plays L'Jarius Sneed made in coverage. I also included the 2 plays he got beat in coverage because I want to show the full picture, but L'Jarius Sneed's playing really well. Jarvis Brownlee Jr., he committed a bunch of penalties last week, but he was pretty good, I think, against the Rams.
He was good.
Roger McCreary was pretty good against the Rams. He had that incredible play where he tipped that pass, where he like jumped back into the passing lane and reached out and tipped the pass away from, I think it was from Davante Adams. So I think those 3 guys are playing at a high level. I think Amani Hooker and Xavier Woods are good. I'm talking about pass coverage right now, not run defense.
Right, of course.
I think the big plays they gave up against the Rams in the air, almost all of them were off play action, which doesn't excuse them, but almost all of them were off play action where there's a lot of misdirection going on. And Denard Wilson talked about how most of those big plays were miscommunications or a check not getting communicated. And those are early season things that you iron out as a defense. So the defense definitely could have played better against the Rams. But at the same time, when I rewatched the game again for the 3rd time last night, I came away feeling like this defense didn't play that bad. Like, for 3 quarters, they were highly competitive. In the 4th quarter, they sucked ass, and they kind of get better than that. But it was like just a handful of big plays, big chunk plays that the Rams made, and obviously you can't give those up. But if it's really just like a check didn't get communicated and that's why you gave up that's easily fixable. It's not a talent deficiency or a schematic issue. It's just a communication. Let's go fix this thing. I'm okay with where they're at, considering they just played against a Hall of Fame quarterback and we're winning again. 3 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. They're winning the game.
Yeah, I think I wasn't going to say that they're much worse or anything. I think it's more or less the same. It's marginal, but I will concede that maybe it's a bit better. I'm glad you brought up L'Jarius Sneed because I wrote an article on Titan Size this morning that praised him. I watched the tape too. I thought he was good in this game. I think the PFF grade is full of shit. I thought he was quite good in this game, and I'm very encouraged. Then once you add the context to it too, Davante Adams he's covering, Matthew Stafford, there's no pass rush. He's playing his first full game in like 10, 11 months. I thought L'Jarius Sneed was good. My biggest is, can he keep it going? Can he stay healthy? Can he continue handling this type of workload? But I was very encouraged with what L'Jarius Sneed did on Sunday. Very, very promising performance.
I think the defense is going to have some moments this year. I mean, the pass rush is what it is, but they're going to have some game-changing moments at some point in this season.
And they're not only going to have 17 sacks, right? Like, that's what they're on pace for. It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible, in my opinion. I think you got to have – they're going to have like 26 would be my prediction. I have like 25, 26 sacks. Once you start making 2 of those a game, 3 of those a game, it's going to help the defense a lot.
Yeah, I agree. All right, last thing we're going to talk about, not last thing, but last thing before we get to special teams, which is a big one, a huge one, maybe the biggest one. But before we get there, turnovers. This team is way better in the turnover department. They're currently +2 in the turnover differential on the year. That doesn't account for the end of game 4th down Cam Ward strip sack against Denver, which again, like you can barely even count that as a turnover. Obviously, it has to count statistically, but it barely counts. I mean, +2 is tied for 4th best in the NFL through 2 weeks. They forced 4 turnovers against the Broncos. They got an interception on Matthew Stafford. They've only turned the ball over 3 times only 2 for real. One of them was a Tony Pollard fumble, which is kind of a fluke play that you don't expect to happen very much. Cam Ward hasn't thrown an interception yet. He did get strip sacked twice. We mentioned that. But I think overall, you have to say, as far as turnover margin and protecting the football and taking the football away goes, this Titans team is way better because they don't have Will Levis out there handing it to the other team.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, I think it goes without saying that they are better, right? I mean, 4 turnovers in week 1. You get another one in week 2, which I didn't expect. You know, Matthew Stafford's a hell of a quarterback. So to get him to throw that interception, they got some good pressure on that one, and they finished the play well. So way, way better than they were a year ago. And it's on both sides. I'm glad you said that, because it's not just the fact that the quarterback's probably going to do a better job protecting the ball all year long, but it seems like the defense is doing a better job creating turnovers as well.
And it's only 2 games, and sometimes turnovers can be fluky, but I like what they've been able to do so far in that department. Okay, Justin, last thing, special teams. We're going to break this down into 3 categories. The return game, kickoff coverage, and the kicking game itself, field goals and extra points, I guess, but really field goals, they've only kicked 1 extra point. The return game is so much better that now that they have a legitimate threat back there. Chimere Dike as the kick and punt returner is a threat to take any single return to the house. And we saw him do it against the Rams. Unfortunately, it got called back, but we saw him field a punt at the 6-yard line and take it out to like the 20-something, past the 20-yard line. Like he is a guy that can flip the field for you and make a play. And the Titans haven't had a guy like that in a really, really long time. So they are no doubt unquestionably better in the return game. Should I just move on? Like, do you have something to add to that? I mean, it's pretty much it.
I mean, self-explanatory. He's been outstanding. I can't believe how good he's been, in all honesty, right? Like,
same.
Really, really super impressive. And Titans got a legitimate weapon in him. Nick Holt spoke to the media and said they're looking to get him an expanded role on offense too, right? Like, I think I just want to add that to the Chimere Dike conversation, because he said, we don't just view him as a gadget player, is what Nick Holt said. We think he's great in run blocking. He's special in space. Like, we definitely need to get him the ball more. And I've been really excited about what Chimere Dike has offered through 2 weeks.
Yeah, I am too. And I think getting him more involved on offense is going to help, because, again, they need playmakers. They need guys that can take a short pass for 30 yards. They need more of that. And Chimere Dike is a guy like that. He has the skill set. So let's get him the ball as much as possible, honestly. Kick coverage. It's hard to really judge this through 2 games. I say they're a little better. I mean, they haven't been... I'd say they're a lot better. They haven't given up, like, massive game-changing returns like they were doing on a semi-weekly basis last year. I didn't even include, Justin, punting in this, like, just getting the punt away part of the coverage of a kickoff or a punt, because, like, we shouldn't even have to talk about the fact that they had multiple punts blocked last year. Like, that shouldn't even be a thing that your team is ever talking about, because it just... you should be better than that. But at least they're better in that department. They haven't had any disastrous blocked punts this year. They have a real professional coach coordinating the special teams now, and I think you see that effect on the coverage team.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I was going to interrupt you when you started, because 100% they're better. I mean, they're a real not just a special teams unit, they're a good special teams unit. And Bones, I mean, first of all, Callahan, credit where it's due, phenomenal hire by Brian Callahan to get Bones in here. And he's done a night and day job. He's completely flipped this unit on its head through just 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And then finally, and this is the biggest one, this is massive. Like, this is, honestly, we cannot overstate how massive this one is. Field goals. Whew. Because of Joey Sly's ability to kick it from 60 plus yards, their offense is going to score more points this season, because they're going to have more chances to do so. The Titans don't have to drive as far down the field to get points as they did when they had Nick Folk. At the 45-yard line, that's a 62-yard field goal. With Nick Folk, you're punting it. With Joey Sly, you're assessing the conditions to wonder if you can try this 62-yard field goal. Like, that's the difference. And that happens maybe 1 possession a game, maybe 1 or 2 possessions a game. That's like anywhere from 3 to 6 points you're adding to your team on a weekly basis. That's huge. That's a huge amount of points. And I think this is super underrated, and we haven't really seen it come to fruition because the Titans have only kicked field goals. But Joey Sly's made 8 field goals in 2 games, and he hasn't missed one yet. And he's made multiple from 50 plus. and he made one from like 57. Like, this is a huge improvement from where the team was last year in this department.
Massive tip of the cap to Mike Borgonzi, Bones, like everyone who made this decision to bring him in. I was worried when they made it. You look at his history, not the most accurate. Field goal percentages were always sometimes around the low to mid 80s, like not a very accurate, successful kicker, but he's been absolutely lights out through 2 weeks. I can't believe how good this guy has been. So A+ on special teams so far. All honesty, like between Shimmeray, DK, Joey Sly, A+ on special teams.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is it, though, Justin. Overall, is the team better or worse right now? They're 2 games.
I mean, I guess more or less the same, in all honesty. Like, I don't think they're good enough. Yeah, too many mistakes, both on offense, defense, leaky dam, right, on defense. With offense, it's like a drops killed them in week 1. Penalties have killed them in both weeks. Like, they're just doing a lot of dumb stuff still that makes it really hard to win football games. But I do think, especially because of Cam Ward, and I think how Callahan's going to coach him as the weeks progress, and because I do think, I have faith, call me nuts, that this O-line is going to get better as the year goes on. I have confidence they're going to end up a bit better than they were last year, but right now it's more or less the same.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I will say last season they were in a position to win each of their first 2 games before Will Levis made a back-breaking game-losing turnover. However, those 2 teams ended up picking in the top 10 this year. So, like, that's
and they
a
were
far
in a position
cry.
to beat the Broncos and the Rams, right? Like, I mean, with the Broncos, that came down pretty late, and with the Rams, you said they had a third quarter lead with 3 minutes left or whatever it was. So they're in a position to play with both of those teams, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I would say marginally better, and they're so much better at quarterback that it kind of lifts them up across the board, and special teams. Like, those 2 areas, it can't be overstated again how much better they are there. That'll do it, though, for this pod. How long do we go? 41? That's not too bad.
Pretty long.
So thanks to everyone for tuning in. Remember to keep pushing that subscribe button. Send us over the line. The finish line is 5,000. Have we gotten any while we were recording, Justin? We did. We did. We were 11 away the last time I gave this little begging you guys to subscribe spiel, and now we're 10 away. So it's working, and it's working live. They can't even hear me yet, Justin. It's already working. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to like the video. Drop your thoughts in a comment below. Grade Cam Ward for us. Give us your grade and why. Tell us your confidence level in this team, 1 to 10, confidence in the rest of this season. Don't get into 2026 and 2027 like Justin started to. Just tell us confidence level for the rest of this season. And where do you think the Titans are better or worse? Drop a comment on all 3 subjects. Drop a comment on one subject, whatever you are inspired to say it. Just say something, because the more comments for our show, the more comments on the video, the better, the more algorithm crap it does for us. So appreciate you guys. Thanks again to Sinkers Beverages. Final word, Justin, over to you.
No, I think that does it. I mean, that was really excellent English on your part to close out. So you guys stay safe. What's your confidence in Graver's knowledge of the English? Like, drop a comment below. I'm going 2 out of 10. You are very
okay.
That was you got to coach better, got to play better on that final sentence there. But other than that, you guys stay safe out there and tighten up.
A Broadway sports media production.